What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to the Crypto Catch-Up. Of course, your number one place to catch up on crypto. Now, many of you are wondering right now, what in the world is going on? The crypto market's pulling back. Things just feel like they broke. Is this the end of the run? Are we about to crash? What is going on? And in today's quick update, I want to try to explain to you what I think is happening, what you absolutely cannot do, and how I'm going about this going forward. There's a trap that if you fall for it right now, you're probably going to lose. So I'm going to try to steer you away from that and show you some data to back that up. Now, the first question, what is happening? Well, of course, the market is pulling back as a result of simple uncertainty-based volatility. What you guys have to understand is every single time throughout the course of crypto history that we have had a decision, a macro decision that would impact the market, whether it's anything that had to do with the virus that went around, whether it had anything to do with inflation or interest rates, and now the presidential election, there is going to be natural volatility. It's just what happens. Anytime people are uncertain, some people bet one thing and other people bet another. And quite frankly, what I've come to realize is none of us know. No matter how much you think you know, you don't know. Some people will be right. Don't get me wrong. Some people are going to bet on what's going to happen as a result of this election, and they're going to be right. But it doesn't mean that they knew in advance. It doesn't mean that they knew for sure what was going to happen. It's just a guess. And when all of these people are guessing, obviously it's going to lead to volatility. Now, the second reason why we are starting to see the market pulling back is quite simply because people are taking flight from their altcoins into a safer environment as a result of the uncertainty I just told you about. What I've noticed throughout history is that in moments in which people are truly uncertain as to what is happening in the world, all right, what's going to happen due to a war, what's going to happen due to the virus, inflation, interest. I'm trying to think of any major catalysts that we've seen. The FTX ban or the FTX collapse, basically. Any of those situations, we always saw Bitcoin outperform. And the reason being is quite simple. In times in which people get a little bit nervous about what the future of crypto is going to look like, they're going to go to the place that is the most certain that to be around. Everyone knows at this point that Bitcoin is very likely just always going to be around. Right? It's going to take something insane for Bitcoin to go away, basically. And so since people have that comfortability of knowing that Bitcoin is going to be around through the bad or the good times, it's very easy that in moments like this, when people don't know, okay, who's going to get elected and what's going to come as a result of them getting elected, they're just likely to go over to Bitcoin, just convert their money into Bitcoin. And it's been easier recently because Bitcoin's been pumping and outperforming a lot of your major altcoins anyway. So why not go to the least risky thing that's going to give you better returns anyway? And so as a result of this, we have started to see a massive shift and a massive funnel upstream from your smaller micro caps all the way to your mid caps to even some of your majors into Bitcoin, which is the reason why the total market cap is pulling back a little bit bigger than Bitcoin's actual market cap and Bitcoin's price itself is. And so whenever you combine the volatility mixed in with the uncertainty, mixed in with people taking flight over to Bitcoin, it's a perfect combination and a perfect formula for you to see a kind of red day like we're seeing today. That's why I think the market's pulling back. And again, quite simply, it just comes down to manipulation to some degree. We have seen the amount of liquidations that are being pressed on either side. There are liquidations on the top side and the bottom side, both of which I'm going to show you in a second. As a result of this, people are going to get liquidated. It's just what's going to happen. This market will head in the direction of the most liquidations. And if you are easily able to be liquidated, you very likely are going to be, especially in times like this, because they can just get away with it. It's very easy to have these huge liquidation moves on either direction when there's a time of uncertainty because it just looks natural, looks normal. Oh, investors are nervous. No. I think the lizard people are pulling strings and they can get away with it because you can't really prove it. So with this in mind and knowing all of this, the question now becomes, well, what do we do now? Well, personally speaking, I have started to pick up and accumulate a little bit more, especially into some of my altcoins and a little bit of Bitcoin, because people are just freaking out. And in moments like this, where a little bitty move like this causes a major freak out, I always like to buy in the opposite direction. Now, what I can do is I can actually show you some of the statistics that I'm personally looking at right now to kind of back up what I mean. So when we look at the 4-hour charts, let me see if I can make that a little smaller. There we go. When we look at the 4-hour charts, okay, what you can see here is that your 4-hour RSI on average is now in the weak or oversold zone, meaning the majority of your cryptos are oversold and overextended to the downside in the last 4 hours and on your 4-hour indicators, which is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, that's just a nuts thing to happen, especially considering, yeah, Bitcoin's pulling back and it may be re-entering the channel right here. We need to see the close. We need to see the weekly close, the daily close. So I'm not freaking out about this yet. But a move like this causing such a reaction is kind of insane, in my opinion. You look at the 24-hour, this thing is now in the weak zone, pulling Bitcoin, Solana, ETH, all of those below the neutrality zone, pulling those into the weak zone. All your micro caps in the weak zone as well on the 24 hours. Absolutely insane move. I think that's just an overextension. It feels like an overreaction to me. You look at your 1-day liquidations. There are a substantially higher amount of liquidations that will now now happen if this market pushes up at all in comparison to the downside. You look at the 7-day. This bad boy is even further weighted to the upside, in which over the next 7 days, way more liquidations will happen if this market moves upwards. You look at your 30-day. Look how this thing is evening out. You remember just a couple of days ago, this was way up here, and the liquidations to the top side were way down here, but even this is starting to push towards that 50% threshold, meaning that, again, if this market moves upwards, a ton of liquidations will happen, which typically means a liquidation very well might happen to the upside, or, in other words, the market very well might move upwards soon. You look at your liquidation heat map model too, guys. Look at this. Look at these liquidations building up. You see this? You see that? That's what we'd like to see. We like to see liquidations, that dark yellow building, as the liquidations below us are drying up. You see how there's not many big liquidations below us anymore, but above us there's a ton? This is a perfect opportunity for this market to bounce off of this move to the downside and now return back to the upside, pushing towards the $70,000 range and start liquidating those people above us. And so because people are freaking out and because people are nervous and because everyone just thinks that this is some terrible thing that's happening right now for some reason, I am going in a little bit. I'm buying a little bit of Bitcoin. I'm buying a little bit of my altcoins because people are just overreacting. So the trap that I don't want you to fall into is just thinking that this is the end of the run that we've been on for the last week. Sure, there's a huge catalyst. Sure, the market may very well crash and very well may go down, but I want you guys to understand that there's still a lot that is happening right now that can say that it very well doesn't have to go down, that it doesn't have to continue to pull back. And as long as we do get some pretty solid daily and weekly closes, I think we're still in a very, very good spot. So personally speaking, I'm not freaking out. Again, I'm aware that this market might pull back. I told you all it might pull back to say Bitcoin might pull back to 60K. It very well might happen, especially if Kamala Harris wins. That's just a possibility. But it's not just, it doesn't justify freaking out about it. The market is going to continue to go in the direction that it's going to go, and that is typically upwards. There are still a ton of liquidations above us. There's still a ton of great news and a ton of great intrinsic value being built into the Web3 world right now. So because of that, you can't fall into this. I think overreacting right now, panic selling right now, any of those things is absolutely just unjustifiable. I don't see the reasoning for it, and I am personally going to be doing a little bit of buying because people are freaking out right now. So let me know down in the comments below, how are you feeling? Are you feeling bullish? Are you feeling bearish? Are you feeling concerned? I am a little bit concerned. I'm not going to sit here and pretend at the result of the election. I just don't know what's going to happen, and I just don't know how it's going to impact crypto. And so as a YouTuber, as an investor, and as a business owner in the world of crypto, I'm a little bit concerned. Like, I wonder what's going to happen, but it's not freaking me out. It's not spiking my emotions or anything. I'm just ready for the wave that's going to come one way or another. And so let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, guys. Don't forget, while you are down there, if you do want to trade a little bit of crypto yourself on up to 100x leverage, I do have a link to Margex. You don't need to KYC, meaning you don't have to give them any of your personal information. You just sign up and start trading, and you'll get up to $10,000 in bonuses. So I have that there for you down below. I have a Patreon also if you want to check it out. So check out those things. Let me know how you're feeling in the comments below, and I'll chat with you all down there. Peace out, everybody.